I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to start with Jennifer Robinson with the STEP report.
Morning, everybody. The FEP report is doing amazing. I will probably in about a week be sending out information to all of you guys. I want to set up a meeting after a commissioners meeting in an afternoon on a Tuesday to have the community come in and give me their input on the COVID that has been going on for the past year. It's an after action report, and we need to have some input from our leaders, the commissioners, our community, and everything. So probably in a couple of weeks, I want to have a Tuesday afternoon to meet with the community and you guys and discuss what was their issues. Could there be something different we could have done differently, or anything like that for an after action report? Okay, what do you guys think about having an afternoon Tuesday for about, I would say, half hour, 45 minutes. It won't be very long to talk to the community. Okay, it will be posted in the paper. That's why I'm saying about 2 weeks. It gives community time to come and have a meet and greet. Other than that, we're good to go.
Good.
Report's doing good.
How many cases now?
In the county right now, we have 13 cases. Deb is working all the cases right now because we went from 35, I believe it was, down to 13. As of this morning, we have 13 new cases. So, yeah.
13 new or?
We have total 13 cases. And I believe there are children, there's positive school age kids now. Yeah. And I know that Deb is working with the school system here on their plan of masking. We haven't seen a report from the school yet, but she is working with the school on the masks. That's all I got report. Other than I just want to meet with you guys in the community in a couple of weeks for the after action report.
And I did give them your FDA approval.
Yes, the FDA approved of the Pfizer has been FDA approved now. So, and it's still 12 and older. There is no vaccine for 12 and younger, 11 younger yet, but they are working on that.
Give the booster here.
So there's the booster and then there's the third vaccine. The third vaccine is for the immune compromised that have had transplant, going through cancer, that have like no immune system. The booster is a vaccine that you'll get it again, but they say it's gonna be 8 months after you've been fully vaccinated. So if you're vaccinated in January, so then you'll get vaccinated in October, the end of September, October. It has not been approved yet to start the booster yet. They're working on it getting fully approved. So
They can have a booster for the Johnson & Johnson.
Johnson & Johnson, there's no word. It's just the one shot at this time. The booster would be for Moderna or Pfizer.
You want to set a time for that meeting?
For the after action report? Yes, I would like to do it in 2 weeks from today. So today is to the It's the 14th. So the 14th. I would like to do it at 1 o'clock on the 14th, right after lunch.
We have budget stuff that day.
I think that's the
14th.
No, that's next week, isn't it?
Yeah.
The budget stuff.
So the 14th at 1 o'clock will work for all of you.
Yeah, we're doing Wednesday and Thursday budget.
Perfect. Okay, so 2 weeks from today, we will do the after action report with the community. And I'm going to invite Maria Stabler from the hospital. I'm also going to invite the pharmacy and Deb Robinson, your public health nurse, to be all involved with this. Yeah,
Well, I guess we'll be off till 9:10 for the health board. Wait. Any public comment? Seeing none, we're off till 9:10. Now is the time for the county Board of Health updates, recommendations and decisions, and it looks like we're it.
you are
Nobody
it.
else is here.
So
So-
there was a question that was brought to me to bring to in front of the board today is the HB 702 bill. And what the HB 702 bill is non-discrimination. That's the best way to put it, okay? In this county, we've had one parent already dispute about wearing masks in school, and also being quarantined if you're a close contact. The HB 702 is, the best way to put it is that you can't discriminate somebody if they've been vaccinated or not. Okay, and it's coming down to the point, there's that gray area. Can we quarantine people if they're not vaccinated, if they're close contacts? So this question was brought to me to bring to you guys, to the Board of Health. What would your guys' recommendation be? And also for the health officer and what she recommends. Do you guys want to keep wearing masks and quarantine close contacts? I mean, Missoula is getting sued right now. The county and the school boards, and Bozeman is getting to that point now. So we want to know what you guys want to do in this.
As far as school goes, mask,
As full as school and quarantining close contacts.
I'd have to go back and look at that bill.
Okay. So if I get you a copy of the bill or Flink and
So, yeah, I'm looking at it right now here. You know, I think, you know, the being sued shouldn't be the, I mean, the first priority should be health, should be the priority. But yeah, you don't want a policy that's discriminating against people. The bill does have a exception on, says, section does not apply to vaccination requirements set forth for schools pursuant to Title 20. I think regarding schools, the health board is just deferred to the schools on the policy. That's what I think. That's what I think you should do regarding schools.
Okay.
Whether they could say, potentially they could say, if you're not vaccinated, then you can't come to school. They could say that.
Should be up to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think the boards would do that here, but that would be the school boards.
That's their districts and that, so I should be up to them. Make their call.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
So can we put this on the agenda for next week of about close contact quarantining then? Or is the Board of Health, or is the health officer on?
She was going to try to get on information, so.
That's fine.
So looking at the county's quarantine isolation policy, it does give those power to the local health officer. So I think we potentially first work with her, and then, yeah, this could be agenda item for the Board of Health. I think it should be run through the Dr. Bond.
So at this time, do you want us to keep going as we are on quarantining close contacts until we hear from Paracon and you guys and see what would be the best route to take?
Is that in accordance with the bill? Then,
Well, if they're only, are you saying the policy would be the only quarantine, those are who are not vaccinated?
Right. Because if they've
Yeah,
been
no, I don't think we can
vaccinated,
do
see
that.
that's,
Yeah.
or do you want me just to go ahead and vaccinate everybody to make it the level, table level, quarantining everybody at the time and not, but then you're discriminating people that have been vaccinated.
Right.
So that's where we're kind of stuck between two rocks. That's that gray area.
We're getting back in that where we're telling people what to do again.
Right. And so we're trying to keep this COVID nipped in the butt.
I know that.
But
I'm not
if-
saying that.
But quarantine doesn't work in this county, I don't think. Isn't it, is it true that people just
Too
go?
rural. Too rural, you know, it just seems like, you know, we have to move stuff. People trying to-
It is hard to quarantine people in this county. I've worked the cases for quite a few weeks and to be honest, it is hard. There's people that don't follow the rules. There's people that just go ahead and do what they want. But then there is some that, yep, we want to keep this from spreading. So it's hard.
Definitely, those positives should be quarantined, and that should be. that
Right.
should be-
So the positive cases are isolated.
Yeah,
That's no matter what. They have to be isolated. So what we're concerned is the ones that are close
Contacts.
contacts. Right.
I don't, you know, there you're getting into, I don't know, I was against that before. I know the ones that have it should be. Starting to get late.
Right.
Got too much government going on now.
Right.
Everything is coming right back again.
It was just,
You feel it.
right, and this was something I was just supposed to bring to the board, and I know you guys are on the board, and I know Kara's on the board, and Mike and Lisa. But at this time, we just,
Really, we should be listening to what they have to say too.
Right.
Before we make a decision, that's why we have. They're
Let's go
experts.
on as we're doing, and in 2 weeks.
so
we'll-
in 2 weeks, we'll bring this back to the agenda. Perfect, thank you, guys.
Is there any public comment on
But
that?
it's 2 weeks of what should we do within these 2
Yeah.
weeks? Should we stay what we're doing now and just quarantining what we're status quo?
but the status quo is quarantining just those who are not vaccinated, right?
Right,
So it's,
No, we can't do
Yeah.
that.
I would just,
I mean, cause then you're telling people, you know, we're going right at it saying, you have to get a shot. I'm not gonna do that. That's just my opinion. If you want one, you should be able to get it.
how about 2 weeks of, just quarantining those who are positive, and you can get the advice of the local health officer and have a board health meeting next week.
And go under what they have found out and have to say, too, because otherwise they're not listening.
right, so will there be a special board of health meeting next week regarding the quarantining and HB 702?
Good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay.
Sure.
So you want us right now just to isolate the positive cases and just work with the positive cases and not quarantine anybody at this time for a week?
Yeah.
Schools set their own, schools set
Schools set their
laws.
own
Yeah, we
rules.
should let them do what they want to do. Otherwise.
Okay. Okay, I just wanted, that was just something I was supposed to bring, so I do thank you all. And
The board could do a motion on that.
So HB 702, is that under the guidelines of HB 702?
There's a copy of that.
Yes. It would be. Not supposed to generally discriminate based on.
So what kind of motion do we need?
Quarantine policy will apply to those only positive for COVID, and the school will defer to the schools on their own COVID policies.
What he said. I'll make a motion.
Second.
instead of quarantining,
Any public comment on the motion on Zoom? Did you hear the motion? Seeing no comment, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye.
Thank you all. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good, how are you?
Good.
Now we're gonna move into the road and bridge superintendent, Paul Alt. Weekly update.
We are just cold patching and blading and dirt patching. Still waiting to mow. You know, we get some rain. And This is pretty much it. Waiting to get the rest of our sand. Tommy's got a crusher coming in, and hopefully we'll be able to get it by the end of the week. We got our salt will be here by the 12th probably or so. So
We have a backup though, if he can't get it.
Yeah. so that's kind of about it, really.
I was looking at the grass up the upper valley, you know, it's fairly green. Probably good fall,
Yeah,
unless it's really, really.
thought about maybe doing some of that with it, running a water truck with it. But until we're done Durapassion and stuff, then that ties up 2 guys, you know,
How's that black pine going?
which will be,
Did they haul the sludge up there again or whatever, you know, on black pine? We weren't gonna pass the road until the city was done.
yeah, they never, I don't know what they're doing, but we put a later passing mailings on there that's holding on pretty good. We did the worst part of that hill with us. So I don't know when they're doing this shit. No. Whatever.
Yeah, they were gonna come back in, tell.
Anything else? Any public comment? What about the plow truck?
It should be in route. So should have it by the end of the week. I'm just waiting for them to call. So email me back and let me know when they're bringing it. So
No, we're gonna be talking about this red line road. What condition is that in? I haven't been up there in a long time. I haven't been up there in a long time.
I haven't been down for quite a while myself. So.
Anything else? No, the north end looking.
I haven't heard nothing. It seems to be holding in. Went up all 2 times. Seems to be good, so.
I think he had some, maybe he had some public comment.
Who?
Some.
Red Line Road
Yeah,
from campground, who are you? I'm sorry, I'm Terry Montgomery. From the campground up to that parking area on the left. The old mill used to be, it's gone. It's normal potholes and everything that's caused by the recreational vehicles occasionally. And from there on, it gets a little rough. Once you get to Discovery Basin, it's bad. Not Discovery, I'm sorry, Golden Jubilee on up. It's pretty rough in places. You guys had a tremendous rainstorm about 4 years ago. Worst bridge out up here.
I can't hear you.
This is about 4 or 5 years ago. You had a rainstorm. Worst ridge out around here someplace. But anyway, all the fines are gone up above. Sorry, okay. From up in the top part, the fines are gone. It got pretty bad, as a matter of fact. 4-wheelers could make it easy. But when you got up on top, the little road that goes over to Showers Pond, right from there down for about 1.5 miles, it was pretty bad. Now there's been some new people move in, and they took the aggression and asked the county's permission with an excavator to knock down some of it. But it's pretty rough up there. Normal pickup on the street. I didn't mean to interrupt. You.
Oh,
Just asked how it was.
That's what I was just gonna say, that's a non-maintained road.
And I'm here for it.
And that's the county portion?
Well,
Some of that area.
Some of it's county, some of it's forest.
the question is which is
The real
which?
rough part.
Real rough parts forest.
It, half the county's bad now. But I came to the following meeting, but I heard you ask about the condition road. I go up there almost every day. Anyway, it's great for recreation, but it's rough for regular race.
Okay, thanks. Any other public comment on Zoom? Elena?
Okay,
Okay.
this is Elena Gagliano. I still can't see or hear who the public is watching. I can't hear them. I didn't hear the introductions. So I don't know if there's something you can do about it because I don't know who is speaking and they're
I
not
don't know,
close.
I think
The only microphone that's on actually, besides the external mics that you're passing around, is yours, Chuck. And so anybody that's close to you, as I've said before, we can hear them. But anybody that's distant, we can't. And we can't see them either. Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you. Any other comments? We're gonna wait till 9:30 for Zachary. Is he here?
No, he's on Zoom.
They're gonna make sure we get are we getting the salt in?
Oh, yeah.
I just have to talk to them.
Maybe as Chairman Eagle, see if you can- he has a question for you.
Just wonder if you could set my camera up somewhere maybe near that wall so I can take up the spot with all these people.
Yeah. Do whatever you want.
Is it cool? Sorry. Thank you.
Fine.
Pointed right at Commissioner Adler.
Right there.
What about over there in that corner?
That, hey, either one, that'd be great, actually. So, thank you. Definitely smaller than the one. You got you. I don't know. I'll be fine. Stay there, but thank
You can move that out of the way. You need to move that out of the way.
you.
You need to move that out of the way.
That's my dad. Don't touch. You gotta get me more.
I spent that box.
Well, since we're all still on and we're ready, Zachary Bashore wants to talk about cutting trees along the Creck Road right away. You want to go ahead, Zachary?
Yeah, good morning, commissioners. My name is Zachary Bashore. I'm a private contractor. I'm the owner of Bashore Land Management. It's a tree service and forestry services company. I've been working with the ranch at Rock Creek on some fire mitigation plans. That includes about 1.75 miles of roadside tree clearing along the Rock Creek Road from the southern boundary of their ranch, which is about 1/2 mile from Scalcahoe Highway. And that would extend north for about 1.75 miles. Everything on the upper side of the road, we'd like to remove pretty much all of it. And it's just a stringer of trees. A lot of them are dead, a lot of them are dying. It looks like the county had somebody go in last year or something and pruned a bunch of them up. And frankly, a lot of them are pruned so much that a lot of them aren't going to survive anyways. So we'd like to clear the whole upper side of the road along with all the slash that was left over from the last pruning job. And then on the lower side of the road, I'd like to remove a couple small stringer of trees, most of them all dead. There's a lot of sections of that lower side that the creek gets really close to the road, so I don't want to remove too many trees on that side. So dust doesn't become an issue in the creek. But you know, I don't see where those trees have much, if any, value. They'd be firewood quality trees in the first place, but I would like to get the county's permission to clear that right of way for them.
So how close to the creek would that be?
The closest I would even get with any of those would be 50 feet. I am going to follow the DNRC streamside management zone laws, even though they wouldn't apply since we're not actually going to be selling any logs. It's still a good thing just to follow that. We will have 4 certified arborists because a lot of those trees are going to be along power lines and things of that nature. And the ranch is willing to foot the bill for this.
Is this your idea or the ranch's idea?
They approached me about it. I just helped them create the plan. So along with the roadside, we'll also be clearing trees along all their cabins. We'll be following that steep hillside to the west and thinning trees out, just so, and if something were to start off the road that, you know, that hillside, there'd be a little bit of a better way to protect everything there.
Yeah, I drove by and looked at it a few days ago, and you know, nothing is marked, so I don't know how close does the creek you'd get, whether you need a state approval or whatever. I don't think it's really worth that much, because like you say, there's no value to it.
No.
It's junk.
Yeah.
Bunch of this stuff trying to keep our meters on the trucks and that, so I guess what's Paul think?
What do you think?
Well, I think cut them down. Just all they do is let sun into the road.
I'd be good with it just as long as they had to approve the insurance and stuff, so when they're working along there with something. If they're gonna do it, make sure and they can sign it and that, or, you know, just so we cover ours.
Yeah, the insurance and potentially a policy naming the county as insured, like 1.5 million per occurrence, like good policy.
Yeah, and since the county would be a landowner in that right of way, we can certainly have our insurance cover the county as an additionally insured in that, and we will.
Biggest deal, and then clean it up good.
Well, I guess, you know, if you show us the insurance and I'd like to see what you want to do. I'd like to see some flagging out there, you know. and- So,
Yeah.
They're gonna be tipping over anyway.
Huh?
Once we get a lot of them are dead along there, we'll have them in the right.
Yeah, but some of it are real close to the creek.
Yeah, the ones that are really close to the creek, if there's any scenario where those would fall in the creek, we're not even gonna touch those. It's just gonna be anything that's really close to the creek, because there's those sections that there's probably 20 feet between the creek and the top of the road. It would just be a couple of those really large, big snags, and we'd fall those into the road and take them away. But I'd like I said, I'd like to leave a windrow along the creek there, just so, you know, you don't have dust. sediment.
Some of that on that SMZ, you can just go and do 50% of them too. So-
Yeah, so SMZ laws are gonna be 50% of any merchantable trees within 50 feet of the creek. Now, with SMZ laws, you can utilize any existing road, so that just staying on that road, even if it were between, or in that 50-foot mark of the creek, we can be there. We also, the only equipment we're gonna have climbers and a skid steer. So that skid steer is just gonna stay on the road, and the trees will fall on the road, and we'll pick it up, put it all in a dump trailer. That's the other thing. We won't be hauling or chipping any of this slash. We're putting it all in a dump trailer, hauling it to the ranch's boneyard, and they'll burn it.
Well, I think they ought to consult with the state. And, you know, there's might be a shade issue for the water or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to work with the state. Sam Whitney's the new service forester out of Anaconda there. Yeah, I worked with
Brian
him.
Robbins.
Yeah, Brian's the unit manager there. I work with him plenty too, but their new service forester, that would fall under his job. So technically, like I said, there's not going to be a hazard reduction agreement open for this job. So technically SMZ laws don't mandatorily apply, but they're always a good voluntary thing to do.
Okay,
Okay, question in summary, then what's he trying to do? Just clean up the dead trees or clear it all or what?
Not the dead, and then there's a few of them that are right on there. It'll benefit us because then we don't have to trim some. I just think it'd be a good deal to get rid of that before we have it playing.
And the reason Rock Creek Ranch wants it done is
Mhm.
prettify it.
I guess. Is there any public comment on Zoom? Do we need a motion or just?
Yeah, I would.
Do a motion, I would go ahead and let him clean that up and take care of it. And make sure he gets a hold of the DNRC on the cut of right of way trees on the Rock Creek Road near the ranch.
And has the insurance without us?
Are you want it marked first too, or do you need it marked?
He's gonna follow along, he'll have to follow along with the state anyway, so they'll come out there on time.
So what the state guidelines then, following the state guidelines in the motion?
And inform us when it will be done?
When you start and done, and make sure you have good signage, or just so it's all took care of.
Okay.
I'll second.
Oh, sorry.
Any public comment on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Be in touch.
Okay, we're gonna be off until 9:45, looks like.
Don't stop it.
Okay, now is the time for Cameron Razor, Forest Service, to talk about basically snow plowing on Red Line Road and other places.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. Can everybody hear me? Good. So I want to start this conversation first at like the 50,000 foot level. And, you know, with the last 4 to 6 years, we've seen a lot of new people move to this county. It's kind of happening all over where they're buying these remote areas. They're moving deeper and deeper into the national forest in these mining claims. But the COVID migration, I'm calling it, the last 18 to 20 months have really exponentially increased the pace at which these folks are moving in. And when they come in, they bring their different ideologies. They want different services. Some are from Montana, some are not. I would say probably the majority of them are probably not. But it's making management of our road systems, of the national forest in general challenge. And so I just wanted to take this time to come in and talk with you guys, big picture first, about what's going on and how we can, I guess, make decisions together that are going to help with the management of both for road issues, at least for the jurisdiction of your guys' road as well as the jurisdiction of our roads, and just management in general of the forest out there. So, you know, we have, I don't know what kind of policy you guys have for folks that want to do additional work on county roads, because that's occurring right now, where they're plowing county roads, they're doing dirt work on county roads, and to be honest, some of it's not great. So I don't know if you guys have a process for authorizing that.
Yeah, we're gonna let Paul talk about that.
When people come in here with those ideas on what to do on these non-maintained roads, we make an agreement with them to let them do it. As long as we're not liable for any of their actions.
So basically on a case by case basis, they come in.
There's a lot of them, you can't make them meet the standards, because the roads are, you know, so old, and what we have, like an old wagon, trails we talked about before. We recommend that we try it, so we keep it to the standards of the county.
So the Forest Service has similar policy. I know Chuck's very familiar with our road use permitting policies. Because a lot of times the Forest Service doesn't maintain roads for residential purposes. I mean, actually never do we do that. That's not part of our policy to do that. We maintain roads for the management of national forest lands. And oftentimes it's not good enough for a private landowner. So we authorize them to do work on a Forest Service road, but they have to carry certain liability insurance. Same discussion you guys just had before with Zach. They have to carry liability insurance, and they have to do with our specifications, that we have exact standards that they have to follow. A lot of these people are unfamiliar with our policies, they're unfamiliar with theirs, so they're just out there doing kind of whatever they want out there, and that's what's causing some of the problems. You know, we've had challenges, Douglas Creek Road, there's a guy that is gonna move up there, I think, full-time this year now. And he wants to plow that all the way into his place. The first 4 miles is county, and then it turns into Forest Service. Black Pine, similar example up there. Now we have the Red Lion Road. So it's happening in multiple places. I deal with 3 counties, it's happening in all the counties. So, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to maybe, well, we're not ahead of it anymore. We're almost kind of behind what's going on, but at least start now and move forward, making joint decisions that could impact both of us in the management of both of our roads. So with that, I think we'll just dive right into Red Lion Road. This is time. I found some records back to the mid-70s when we had agreement with Yanacona Snowmobile Club of that being a snowmobile route. And I'm not sure when the grooming started, but you know, there's quite a few folks obviously that are interested in this. There's a long history of snowmobiling in this area, and plowing is contradictory to, I guess, what we have been doing for the last several decades. Puts us in tough positions because we want to help the landowner, there's no doubt. If we lived up there, we'd probably want the road plowed as well, but we also, when you manage under multiple use objectives like the Forest Service, where we have recreation and timber and grazing and wilderness, there's losers and there's winners. And in this specific example, it's tough because the heritage of snowmobiling and the recreational use there, I find probably more important than the needs of a few landowners that are going to be coming in and want additional services from us. I mean, they may even at some point request you guys to be plowing this road. And I know your guys' budget is low, and it's hard to add additional services for some landowners. So just want to open that up discussion with you guys to see where you guys are sitting on it, because I'm sure this request is going to come to plow this road this year. For a long time, there was even Forest Service closure, which I found kind of interesting, but Forest Service closures converting roads to trails during the winter. So basically December 2nd through, I think it's March 15th, where we convert our normal road system into just snowmobile trails to try to reduce the conflict of different users. And we all know snowmobiles travel at a much faster rate than a vehicle. Plus you get into plowing and berms, and I think that impacts our road maintenance in the future. If they're not cutting holes in the berm to get the water off in the spring, it just becomes a river and erodes more fine sediments on the road. So there's a lot of things that we got to think about, I think.
I think that's what happened last time, you know, we tried to work it, we shut us down too low. We had a-
Blaine?
Can you show them on the map where the Forest Service part of it begins?
Yeah, that's the back map right there, actually. The jurisdiction starts at, we call it the Red Line Snowmobile Parking Lot, because that's why we constructed it down there at the very bottom. Basically right off the Discovery Ski Hill Road, Rifle Lake Road. County jurisdiction goes all the way to the Red Line line. And at that point, it changes into Forest Service jurisdiction. But this is, this gentleman who plowed last year, it would be down below the Red Line line on the county portion.
Is he here? This person who wants to,
I've never met him, I don't know.
guess not.
What is your agreement state with the snowmobile association? The Forest Service has an ongoing agreement?
We do. I'm not real privy to the agreement, but it just basically, again, it authorizes them to conduct the work on our trails or roads. And then there's, I believe there's a cost share where we get grant money, and they, of course, they get the state tax. There's probably some here. If there's a president here, or you want to take that?
Want to stand up here and state your name?
Nick Roach, yeah, Snowboard Club. So as far as I know, yeah, you know, we got the lower sections, your guys' county road up, and it goes Forest Service. We're granted by the state with the funding. I think, like he said, Forest Service is for their section. I think some of their grants go into our overall pot. You know, it's coming from a lot of fuel tax. They somehow figure out a way to do the fuel tax, how much snowmobiles spend throughout the winter in our area. I don't know how to figure that out. They go off that, and then licensing and permits, everything else goes into a big general fund that's distributed throughout the state fish wildlife parks. Seth MacArthur here is with FWP. He's basically in charge of all this. He could probably give you a serious answer.
You'll have to speak in that mic.
I
State your name.
Yeah. Seth MacArthur with Fish Wildlife and Parks. I'm in charge of the snowmobile program for the state. And, work with that on club and actually work with Barry. But this is an economic impact study that was done in 2014. It is outdated in number. They're actually way bigger now than they were in 2014. Our sticker sales and all that have increased. And there's a lot of impact to smaller communities. So I just want you to be aware of that as you make your decisions. And if there's any questions, please feel free to get in touch with me at the Fish Wildlife Parks. I'll be happy to take it.
Okay, is there a place for a turnaround up there past this person's house or where we go?
I'm not super
No.
familiar with the route.
Not really at all. At the mine, there's enough to maybe park 1 to 2 vehicles there right now. On average, in that parking lot they built us, there's probably 30 to 40 trucks there on a weekend. That road's not honestly wide enough, even if we plowed it all the way up there. Come winter time, there's 5-6 feet of snow there. It's gonna get too narrow to have vehicles passing. If you're trying to build another parking lot, I mean, it could be done, I guess, but we're gonna have to do a lot of widening and something big with like a rotary that can get the snow out of the way instead of just a plow. There's no way a snowplow can keep this road open all day long.
Well, if you can't plow the road to specs, I mean, they can't plow the road.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
We try to plow that with county equipment. We're gonna have every subdivision in the county in here wanting us to plow all our subdivisions. You can't do that.
I don't think you can use our equipment on it. It just tear it up.
Right.
This road, it's a non-maintained road. I mean, yeah, you're not driving a car up this road. It's a rocky, like you said, you're gonna tear your equipment up there, but even just a plow, you'd have to have a rotary, big snow blower to get the stuff off, and even that, you're gonna tear that apart too, because it's rock. I mean, there's 2 foot dollies sitting in the middle of that road that are sticking up. You hit that with a rotary tiller, it's destroyed.
So the landowner is asking to plow it himself, is what he's.
No, my understanding of the stories I got, he plowed it last year with last spring, when snowmobile season was still.
There's a couple landowners that are here that live up there year round already and abide by they snowmobile in and out. They throw all their supplies, and they caused a big ruckus, or he caused a big ruckus for them, being able to get it out with his dozer. Left a big mess. One of the landowner's daughters was coming out in the evening, or coming back in the evening. She works down in Seven Gables. Hit one of his big ice pieces and wrecked, and she got minor injuries, but she could have been very injured. He just made a big mess right in the middle of the road with the dozer.
What areas was he plowing?
I'm not totally sure. Brandon would be the best.
Lake plowed from his property all the way down to the parking lot. And she got ran over by her sled right at his property. She had a nice chunk, went over the handlebars and the sled.
Do you want to stand up and talk into the mic? I can't hear it.
My name is Brent Belrose. I live at the top of Red Lion. So, yeah, my daughter works in the mornings going to Discovery to be a ski instructor, and she works at night at Seven Gables. Now, she's capable at 16 years old last year of going up and down that road on a snowmobile 7 days a week. And she never had one issue until he took a D3 to the road. He messed up the road without telling us. She was coming down in the morning in the dark, hit one of his big gigantic ice chunks, went over the handlebars and got ran over by her sled. Now, she could have been injured massively. She could have even been killed. Luckily, he had slowed her down earlier in the road, which caused her to not to be going at speed. If she would have been going at speed, she probably would not be here at this time. So the problem with Tom doing anything on that road, as soon as he changes it, he puts the rest of us landowners in danger because we don't know what he's doing. And when we decided to live up there, we decided to live up there based on the rules that were set in place. So we bought equipment to spend the entire year up there, according to what the Snowmobile Club suggested that we did. So we have snowcats, snowmobiles, tracked vehicles, and we went to a lot of expense to do that. And I think it's pretty unfair for a landowner a little bit down the road further to break all the rules, put everybody else in danger. And there's people already that live up there following the rules based on what it is as it is sits today. And we went to the expense to follow those rules. And if he ends up hurting us or trapping us up there because he doesn't have the correct equipment to snowplow the road, it's going to end our existence above it. As soon as he started plowing with the D3, our life became extremely miserable because the trail changed unnaturally every day. So everything just became more expensive and tougher to bring groceries up. And if you would have left it in the natural condition, spring would have been easy.
Well, it seems to me that you can't plow the road unless you meet county specs, and that's for safety.
Right.
Erosion and whatever. And you can't plow the road and that turnout, whatever. You shouldn't be plowing. And he shouldn't be plowing the road without coming to us anyway.
Didn't have the ID's authorization, the commission be
Exactly.
on the county road.
So how many people want to comment? How many?
One at a time. Yeah,
Raise your hand if you want to comment, because we got 15 minutes.
I was only gonna take about 20, so. Now, my name's Terry Montgomery, and I guess I'm the dinosaur of the hill up there. My family's owned the majority of the claims above Golden Jubilee forever. I've been up there since the last 70 years. I've observed a lot of changes. It used to be it was me and my cousin Danny Flynn were the only ones up there. And over the years, we've never posted any of our land. I'm an old Montana theory guy that if somebody's family wants to come up there and have their kids walk into the forest and see what a squirrel is, just because we own it, we shouldn't shut it off. I think people ought to be open to the nature. We've always supported the recreation people that are up there. But I am concerned about a couple of things, and I'll be real short. There's been some animosity up there the last 3 or 4 years. There's been 3 or 4 claims put into the law enforcement because people are getting a little upset about what's going on. I won't go into detail on that right now, but I think it's something that should be noted. Looking down the road, there's going to be more and more people probably moving in. We've had 10 entities move in the last 12 years. 5 of those are looking, they want to stay up there full time. With regards to the plowing, they've already discussed that, and I think they've covered it pretty well. The last concern that I have is, and this is something that's not with the road, but it kind of ties in, is I know that there are rules and regulations with regards to the county and getting emergency vehicles to people if something was wrong there. I would ask the county and the Forest Service to continue to work with the landowners. They'll try, if they're going to do some management to the road, to keep it as much to standard as they can. But obviously, they don't have the kind of equipment the road crew has. But the road was so bad until they changed it here just recently, and we heard that discussion earlier. But work with us so that we can do what we have to in the summertime when it's a bare road, so people can get in and out. It's pretty rough. In the wintertime, if it's going to be snowmobiles, and of course, people should adhere to the things that have been going on for the last couple of years. And we all try and stay with the agreements that are up there. But the bottom line is, and I'll close with this, I think we got to go back to where we're getting along together a little bit better. There's been some stuff going on. We've all shook hands to make that happen. And I hope that we can continue to work together.
Sounds good. Any other comments?
Yeah, there's a couple more back there raising their hand. I just don't know.
My name's Greg Madden, my own property, close to Brandon. We brought that property with the knowledge that it was a snowmobile association road. I actually personally enjoy it because I can get up and down a lot quicker. I know Tom trying to plow that road up there would just cause major ice, but it's not engineered or sloped right for plowing, right as it is currently. I know the city has paid for the engineering all the way to Fred Burr to eventually get it done. It's my understanding it was supposed to take a 3-year phase, 3 years and 3 phases, starting from the top and working down. We did improve some of the road above past the cliffs, but we had city approval to do that with the work. So a lot of the water was going to property. The big thing with Tom, trying to come in, never even spent a winter here. He doesn't even know how much snow it is. I mean, this guy comes in, disrespects everybody in the club. He's down there, cut like 25, 30 trees down, national forest, using his log scooter in stage 2. I mean, this guy just does what he wants. But for us, it's a matter of personal safety. I have my wife up there, he's got his wife, he's got kids. If we try to come down that road one day and there was an emergency, and you had 15 snowmobile guys parked off to the side of the road, we might be landlocked and not be able to get to any services. Until there was a correct infrastructure to actually maybe rebuild the snowmobile park at Golden Jubilee Mine and make that right, but you're talking years and years of doing it right. And the county would have to come in and decide to go ahead and maintain that road and the expense of doing that. It just doesn't seem like it's realistic. I think everybody that moved up there, we didn't pay a lot for our property for a reason. It's not a straight road up there. We understood the challenges when we came, and we want to respect the community, be a part of the culture. Losing the snowmobile club, I mean, you're talking, our whole thought up there is have a warming up for snowmobilers, for the backdoor skier, backcountry skiers, and
kind of we're having a business model set up for being a part of the community. We went from a mining town to a forest town, now we're a ranching and service town. And without that revenue and bringing in people and accommodating these trails, it's going to hurt my business, it's going to hurt Brandon's business, it's going to hurt Seven Gables, it's going to hurt Brandon County theological. Just we're going to have less work, but less traffic. And the dangers of him trying to follow that road, I mean, putting him responsible at 4 o'clock in the morning to be out there and start working and then not build big snow berms, it's just unrealistic. It's unrealistic in its current form, unless something changes over the next few years. It's just unrealistic. So thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here wearing many hats. My name is Bill Everett. I'm the CEO of Georgetown, County. I'm also a property owner here in Grant County. Actually, my cabin connects via this snowmobile trail in the winter. Great recreational opportunity. Obviously, I'm a big supporter of the Anaconda sportsmen, Anaconda snowmobile clubs. They bring a lot to our community. They bring a lot of recreational that basically you get to enjoy those tourist dollars, so do I. Actually, the parking lot up there, the county plows that Anaconda through Georgetown. We're proud to do that. That's a little bit outside of our venue, what we're supposed to do, but we do it because we see how many people use it. And great access. Without having that, it's going to change a lot of dynamics. We're actually looking at a large facility coming into Anaconda to set up snowmobile rentals. And the number one place they want to use would be basically that route. So from an economic standpoint, that's going to keep us on right career. We're all partners, partners with the Forest Service. We talk about to make sure we're all on the same page. We're partners with our other counties. We all need to work together. When we buy property like that, as I bought my property roughly 50 years ago, you buy it with certain expectations. Those expectations are that it'll be snowmobile access in the winter. Granted, times I would really like to be able to drive my truck to my cabin, make it really nice. That's not what you bought it for, and it also takes away from why you did purchase that. That being said, I would ask that you refrain from adding this to a plowed road. We have plenty of roads to plow, as we all know. We all look at our budgets and we all scratch our head trying to figure out what we can and cannot do. With that being said, we've also had a lot of experience with individuals plowing county roads. Every one of those has ended up in an absolute nightmare. Mr. Razor's had some reports. Guys, it's my success anyways has been zero. Every time we pull back, we've had some liability claims that we've had to defend. With all appreciation for the gentleman who bought that land and would like to expand our tax base, there is a give and take. And sometimes we need to stick to where we're at. And my belief is what you have going right now is one of the most beautiful things in the state as far as snowmobile access. It grows every year, and the camaraderie on that trail is absolutely amazing in the winter. Let alone you get stuck, you get good friends to help you out. That helped me out this year. It's really a neat thing, and I hate to see us lose that. So, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
No, I think the reason why my name is Raymond Ballrose, owner top of Red Line Road. I think the reason why Tom stressed out and wants to plow is when he started working the property, my car got trashed at the bottom of the road. And it was basically totaled. So his argument to me was the reason why he wants to, and it seems like he's got a lot of people that are going to be living on that property with him. The reason why he wants to get a plow up there is because my vehicle got trashed and he wants to get his vehicles home safe. And he says that he can't protect his equipment and stuff at the bottom of the hill. Now he's older than I am, his wife is older, but then he's got his kids that are either a little bit younger than me, but there seems to be a fairly large group of people that are going to be going up and down and going to work.
Now, when I left my car down there, I knew that there was probably a great possibility that anything that I leave down there is going to be touched one way or another. And that's just the way life goes. We knew that going in. And I think everybody that was up there has concern of our equipment being stored at the bottom. I mean, we survived based on bringing our snowmobiles down, bringing our sled down, getting our groceries, getting to our vehicles that still exist, getting to the grocery store, and doing the round robin. If we could express to Tom, his wife, and his family that as a culture, the Snowmobile Club and the people that use that are there, they leave their equipment down there for hours, if not days on end. We're all in the same boat, and it's just the way it is. So his argument, and it'll always continue to be, is, can I leave my equipment at the bottom? And what liabilities? I don't even know if are we legally able to park there?
No, you're not supposed to.
So I mean, with that being said, that's what his concern is getting his stuff home on his own property, where he has a legal right to park. So maybe it goes back to you. I mean, now that there's a lot of residents on that road and we all are forced to park on your property and we can't even get to our property, what's
There's something we can work out through a special use permit.
Because there's a lot of vehicles, and of course, one vehicle was terminated because it was left down there, left down there unattended to. But that's what his complaint, I think, besides being easy for him and his wife to carry him groceries and stuff. His main complaint to me was he was afraid that all this stuff was going to be damaged.
Okay, is there any more comment? We're gonna have to wrap it up pretty quick.
I just
Blanche?
want to say one thing. When he plowed the road, did we know that he plowed the road? Did he get permission?
No.
Can someone do that?
No.
So he did it without permission, without the county saying anything. Is there any legality with the snowmobile club that they can say, hey, this is by law that, hey, you have to follow this?
I think what you just direct me to send them a letter and say, don't do that again. See.
Yeah.
We have to talk to them. We should sit down and talk to them.
My opinion, a lot of this goes back on the realtor too, is what, when they sell this ground and then they tell them, well, this, just to make a sale, this will right back the same stuff we've gone through before. They beat them on taking all this, and then you guys have been there and know better, and you guys have been, and it's like, hell, I can do it. It's not right.
Hey Chuck, I know we're almost done, but can I have 1 minute to address one of these questions? Sure. Please. So it was about the city of Phillipsburg that I worked with Sam Dennis. Of course, they have the Fred Burr water. They got the Fred Burr lake up there, which is a municipal water supply for Phillipsburg. And the road to get to their infrastructure is just horrible. They have a special use permit for that last mile of road that's gated that only they can drive on. And it's in poor shape. So Sam and I worked together to get Resource Advisory Council money. And I think we're up to about $100,000. So part of that money paid for the engineering that was discussed up there. A lot of the money though can go to the whole road. Our plan was to kind of start at the dam and work our way out. But if we all pulled together the same way we did in 2018 and 19 with those road projects and get some county equipment, get some Forest Service equipment, get the city of Phillipsburg money, we could probably put together a pretty good project which will address Terry's concern about just improving the summer conditions on the road just a little bit. I mean, I don't think anybody wants a super highway up there either, but we've got to get it to a point that you can safely drive it and keep the water off it so it doesn't keep getting worse and worse every year. So there's a good pot of money to get started. 100,000 doesn't go along, as we all know, with road reconstruction, but it's a good start, and the city of Peterborough would definitely partner in a project like this, where we all work together to get more miles done for the 100,000.
We can work together.
Yeah.
I'm with Chuck, though, we need to talk to this Tom, I don't know who he is.
Is there a motion to have Blaine send him a letter?
Yeah, I'd make a motion to send a letter to whoever he is.
To request he come in and
Yeah.
chat with
we
you.
can
Well,
sit down.
I think that the motion has to be that he can't be plowing without permission and
Lots of-
Well, that's already the default law, so I think it's how we're gonna issue, is how we're gonna remedy it.
Well, I think they sit down and talk to him and figure out who it, tell him this,
So it's,
because the county isn't gonna maintain it right now, we can't.
No,
Right.
we can't.
And there wouldn't be enough people up there, and you have homeowners that snowmobile up there and they agree to, and he bought the property and he has to abide, I think, wouldn't you think, by public,
it's gotta follow the law.
I don't know, I can't think of the,
safety thing too, like
Yeah.
you say. That's a big thing, start plowing, not knowing what you're doing.
Right, that's why we have to talk to him. Let's sit down and talk to him.
yeah.
So the letter would be to request he get on your agenda and come talk.
Comes in, we sit down and talk to him, explain how it goes.
Can we make sure that the Forest Service and Snowmobile Club and everybody's involved in this?
Oh, yeah, it'll be on the agenda.
Same page.
Okay, any public comment on Zoom?
You guys might want to check on the website, too, the bill will put it on there in the queue, so you guys can the website, and look it right up.
Elena?
Okay, so again, what is the motion that's being made or the decision? Is it just going to be a letter to this person, Tom? And I didn't hear his last name, so I don't know who you're mailing it to. And it says on the agenda that there's an discussion and decision. So are you making a decision
That
to
is a-
send to send a letter?
Motion
And-
is a decision.
Are you making a decision to send? I thought I had the floor here to make a decision to send. Or the snowmobile, it's going to be on the agenda, I assume, both the letter and the meeting. Now I'm done. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 What was it, our motion?
Send a letter to Tom, do you know his last name?
Tom,
Crawford. Request the meet with the county commission, the service and folks here and have a chat. And, like here even next Tuesday.
I think.
Well, anytime.
I think
you
we're
know,
gonna
when-
do it soon as that, because it's already here September, so this is coming up.
well, I think what the public needs to know is that we are definitely in favor of keeping the snowmobile club going, and want to work with the Forest Service. And we're not gonna plow the road because it's unmaintained. And just so that you understand that you do need your snowmobile trail. So that would be part of the discussion with the gentleman. I don't know if there's any legality to where you can say you can't do it.
Yeah.
Blink, and we can have all that ready for next week. I think, I definitely want it on the agenda for next week, so we'll get a letter out by today, or get it if we can.
Yeah.
And then get it to them right away, and then that way we can move on to this.
Well, one thing, the letter is the previous homeowners that are already on the trail. We depend on the trails. It's how we live. So if he alters it, it takes our life away. So it needs to stay the same because that's the way we set up our life to live.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Coming in.
This meeting is on the playground.
What about Douglas and Black Pine?
What's that?
Same Douglas and Black Pine, same scenario, but there's not conflict. The snowmobile club, I mean, people snowmobile up there, but it's not, that's like the number one part of the So, I mean, we want to put the flat on it too, or? I would authorize that guy a couple of years ago. Thanks. Anyways, we'll talk about those other roads later, I guess, another day. Yeah. Because we're gonna be putting roads in back there too. I just have a question. Did, what happened to for cutting the trees over?
Yeah, basically that'll be what it comes down.
Okay.
We're gonna have to, this is a big discussion.
Hey, nice to meet you.
This is.
Hey guys, here's a couple cards too. If you ever got any questions, please give me a call. Or we seem to always be on about the same trajectory, so to speak. There you go, sir. Appreciate it all. That's a beautiful area up there. Times you like to have a perfect road, but at the same time, do it. It's like, that's why you buy stuff like that too. If you want to live on the main road, you find the main road. So, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay, nice to meet you. I don't think I have seen you, have I?
No, I think you were this job last year.
Okay, now we're gonna move in with Jonathan Weaver with Great West Engineering to provide summary of 11-month walkthrough at Flink Creek Dam last week.
Great. Thanks for your time, Commissioners. Good to see you again. It's been about a year, I guess. Saw Chuck last week. So I've got a draft letter here. Myself.
Oh, sorry.
So last Tuesday, myself, Jake Pearson with Battle Ridge Builders and Commissioner Ethel did an 11-month walkthrough on the work that was completed last year at the Flint Creek Dam. Per the construction contract, there's a 1-year warranty on the construction work. And so we'd like to go up about a month in advance of that warranty and see if there's any items that didn't last. Overall, it looked really good. There were no visible movement of the new concrete on the dam face, only a few hairline fractures. Spillway joints were in excellent condition, although the spillway didn't flow last year, so we didn't get a real test of how they'll perform, but they looked really good from what I could tell. And the upstream slab was also in excellent condition. The only area of correction that we identified, and Chuck, this was after you left, we took a boat and floated along the whole dam face, and the blue water stop had the liquid membrane had deteriorated in several places. It looked just kind of like old paint that wasn't applied quick enough and peeled up. And
The blue stripes there?
blue, yeah. So Jacob and his crew were actually already up there yesterday. They scraped down the stuff that had failed and reapplied another layer of it. And I went up there this morning and checked it out, and it looks really good. They did a nice job. So we finished it out well.
They're a good crew.
And that's the reason this is draft. I hadn't had a chance to make it up there yet to see their work. So I'll report the findings from this morning in the letter and finalize it and send it to you guys.
Okay, sounds good.
Will you send that stuff?
I think so. Yeah, we probably will. Probably should do that. I'll check with Jeremiah to make sure. I don't
It
wanna.
seems like it helps us too, when we send this stuff, so we're trying to stay. Helps us. I want something else.
I know I don't want to cause any more problems than I solve, but.
It don't matter.
And then Jacob did provide me with some extra material. I've got it in the back of my truck, so it's probably a third of a 5-gallon bucket of that blue membrane, and then also some. It's like a fiberglass cloth that you put down also.
Okay.
Can you drop it off up to the county shop for now, and then we can get a hold of Dan Kinder and he can. You see know where it is.
You know where the shop is?
No.
The shop of that girl.
Well, can you just drop it here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we put it down in the hallway downstairs.
Yeah, you can just down in the hole right there.
Okay.
Try to get a hold of him right away.
But I think probably for the first, I'd certainly check it every year. It's only supposed to need to be reapplied every 5 years, and then that extends the warranty up to 25 years. But I think, next year we'll do the same thing and float along the face and look at it. It's pretty quick. I mean, I bet they do it in a couple hours, so. Paintbrush can do it.
Okay. You guys recommended that maybe we have our dam tender patch the hairline cracks.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think that would be good. And Jacob actually, their crew did some of that as well. But just on an annual basis, monitor any small cracking that develops, and the dam tender can apply caulk, and we can tell you what kind to get. But it'll just really extend the life of the concrete if you prevent the water from getting in those
Those
cracks,
seams along the edge of the spillway there.
freezing and thawing. Now it's a prevention work on the cure. So
Then we also have to get an electrician to, the conduit came apart, that conduit above the spillway,
No,
it came apart again, so we gotta get that fixed.
maybe we can get a hold like Ben or somebody that's going by this and have a special, is it all right for now? Or me?
Well, it should be fixed as soon as possible.
yeah, as soon as possible. I mean, it's just where the conduit comes into the 90-degree junction box. The conduit pulled out.
Guess we call Ben or Palm or somebody, see if they can get up there. This week's been a whole bunch of sidewalk, but if they're going by it, to fix it, otherwise you're gonna cost us crowd.
That probably take the guy half an hour to fix it, but
We don't have money in there, this.
Yeah,
So would the dam tender call the electrician? Or would
I think
call
we
the
probably
electrician?
should just to get it.
Billy, can you call? We need where it's at.
okay. Great work with that Battle Ridge boys, they're-
Good to have them.
They're good guys. They've done us well.
yeah, Jacob was real appreciative of the letter that the commission wrote him last year. That went a long way. So he mentioned it again to me several times this year.
I'd recommend them all the time. They're just good to work with.
Any comments, public comments? Let's see,
Who do you want Billy to call first? Jeremy?
Yeah,
Jeremy.
I know he's working up there quite a bit. See if we can sit there.
So I guess arrange it for the electrician and then Jarrett and Brandon will show him. Yeah. And Brandon will show him where he has to fix it, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
You can see it right from the road there. I guess it'd be on the north side, right, Chuck?
what's that?
That conduit's on the north side that's separated.
Well, northwest.
That's,
Those caps look really good where they put them on, where it was leaking down into the dam. It was really good. Oh,
Well, another project in the books.
yeah,
Thank you.
You bet. out well. So like I said, I'll finalize the letter and email it to Lily and
Good.
go from there. And I'll leave the products in the hallway downstairs.
Because they
Yeah.
can just.
Look, set it on a picnic table. There's a picnic table.
Oh, outside?
Yeah,
Okay.
there ain't a lot of room inside, so it's strictly, yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, well, thanks.
Anything you guys need me to relay to Jeremiah or Bill?
No, good job.
We had asked for that variance on the seismic study. Jeremiah wasn't too optimistic, but you can always ask, and then ask for extension too. So. Did you get it uploaded? Okay?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, that was you?
Yeah.
Good.
Got it all sorted.
Thanks.
I'm pretty sure I can't ever do that.
Yeah, I needed Jeremiah to help me though. I like couldn't figure out which docket to e-file it under. He's gonna do some e-file like.
Okay. There's some different categories. Or...
There's so many different categories, and then you have to connect it to a docket number.
Okay.
It's very cheesy. I had Kelsey try to explain it to me one day, and she's like, I don't know, I don't e-file stuff. I'm like,
That's pretty sad, data.
it's like, I'm just sending it in under something. Tell me if you
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, well,
Well,
Yeah, don't drop that
Thanks,
mic.
Jonathan.
thanks.
Safe travels.
Have a good one.
Nice to meet you.
okay, now we're gonna move into Georgetown Lake outflow review and decision. Looks like we're back down to 17 inches low.
So it's gone up again?
It's gone down again.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, it was a
19.
little above 16 inches below,
Oh,
slightly above, now it's 17. So we lost an inch. I guess we leave it the same. So I'll make the motion to leave it the same at 30 CFS. Unless we hear different. Any public comment?
yeah, the FERC orders 30 CFS through October 15. Yeah. Rain of the forecast?
No. No
I'll
rain.
second the motion.
Is there any public, oh, there was a rumor going around that we were gonna let out a bunch of water.
That was proposed
Soon.
to us a month ago, and we just can't do it.
Well, this is a new rumor that went around. I called, or I talked to the person up the lake. Said it wasn't true.
So the motion was to keep it at 30 CFS.
Yeah.
Any comment? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, we're off until 10:45. Going better than I thought it would. Okay, now we're going to discuss the Johnson Minor subdivision, creating one lot in Hall.
Linda should be here for this. Linda was gonna come down for this. She gave you guys a big packet. from the
Yeah, it
planning
looks
board.
good to me. Looks fine.
Here she comes.
And he's doing it right. He's not trying to.
How's it going, Linda?
Hi.
Fancy.
You're moving fast in here.
I, okay. Sorry. So this is a request to do that a subdivision split off that one acre down at Hall where that Chuck Johnson had started building an office. Then it burned.
Oh, man.
And so, oh, I don't know, probably 10 years ago, he started this subdivision. And then when the building burned, he just didn't follow through and finish it. So he had to start over. So this is all this is breaking that one lot off. And planning board recommended approval with the conditions. So
good
everything's
with it.
good in your eyes. Yeah, it's a really easy one. Yeah, it looks, yeah.
Is there a motion to approve it?
I make a motion that we. What is that? Approve the Johnson Minor. Is it ready to be approved? Yep, Johnson Minor subdivision. Do they have the record set or just? No, it's preliminary. Okay, preliminary. Okay, yeah, we approved the preliminary plat for the Johnson Minor. With the conditions, right? With the conditions.
Any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All right, yeah, that was an easy one. He literally had one step left. Oh, how sad. Okay, thanks. Thank you, Linda.
Okay.
Too bad about that fire, like the staining or whatever, and had the rag, and they just got hot and started on fire.
Sitting in a bucket.
Really?
Yeah.
Sitting in a bucket.
No
Spontaneous
kidding,
combustion.
wow.
Okay, we're off until 11. Okay, now it's time for Jerry Christensen to discuss lease extension for Edwards Track Marina. That's for you?
I'm Shane Worley. I'm one of the board members. Jerry just pulled up outside.
Oh, okay.
Come on, sit up here.
All
I
right.
have a microphone for you. Let's do.
Not much, Blaine. How you doing?
Good. You gonna do the talking, or Jerry?
Jerry was going to lease the new president.
All right, would you get voted out?
You got 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I think it's so bad. I think I'm going there.
That's why we requested to do.
Oh, okay, sorry. It was a request.
I just read that.
They said another big fire blew up in Idaho.
Really? We're at.
They trying to find out, but they said they evacuated the town, so I don't know if it's in the group meeting or what. Maybe it's text and there's a fire blew up in Idaho. Stuff rain over, yeah, they hate that little bit of rain. It's just mean and.
California didn't get the rain.
You're up.
I'm up. Hello. Hello. Okay.
My name is Jerry Christensen. I'm the president of the Everett Track Marina LLC. And I'm here today to request a 10-year extension, excuse me, on our lease. The marina was built in 1989 using logs, riprap, and gravel. And it has reached a point where it's in, excuse me, severe deterioration. It has holes in some of the areas and it is in dire need of dredging. The point where some sections cannot be used, especially now in low water. So we are undertaking a project to rehabilitate the area. And it's going to cost a substantial amount of money. We're looking probably around $70,000. Our lease was last updated, renewed in 2019 to 2024. But we would like to, if we're going to take on this project and expend a considerable amount of money, extend that lease for the maximum amount of 10 years, which is allowed, as I understand, excuse me, by state law. Any questions?
There's pretty much, you just want something to show that way, you know, you're gonna, we'll try to so you still have it under lease, so the lease didn't get pulled.
Right. It's a
That's
point
great
now that, say, the logs are deteriorating, the riprap is starting to fall in. We're not going to use logs because if we put new logs in, we would be right back here in another 4 or 5 years. So we're looking at, we'll have 3 bids out with various contractors trying to use like cement blocks, maybe even cement, something more permanent.
Can we extend it out through, instead of putting 10 years on, or just go from now and then? Or you have to go with the new?
10 years would be the max. You could put in there like automatically.
I just say what is the
renew unless
easiest
someone-
way.
Yeah, 10 years, I understand it is the max. So it's, I think it's right now, 2024.
2024, yeah, June 30th, I think. July 1st.
What is the status of there was talks about the removal of some trees and stuff like that. Is that what you're talking about too, for this or no?
Well, no, this would be just repairing the marina area itself. That is in severe need of repair.
We did have a permit from the DEQ as well to do some dredging last year. And we didn't get that done, and so they extended that for another year, so it's part of this project. While they're in there, we'd like to remove some of that sediment that's came in as well.
This probably helps on if you're going for money and that, it shows that you have a little bit longer.
Right.
term on it than-
Well, it's gonna take about 3,000, we have 23 shareholders, and it's gonna take approximately $3,000 per shareholder to fund this rehabilitation.
I have no problem with it.
I think it's, you know, especially when you're improving in that, you know how that works, you have a letter, you know, at least they can see that you actually have time.
Well, right, we've had comment from some of the shareholders, and we say, well, everybody's gonna have to kick in a sizable amount if we're going to rehabilitate the area, which is, everybody says, yeah, it really needs it. So, but they also say, well, if we're gonna do that, we wanna make sure that we can utilize the area for a maximum amount of time.
I don't think it's wrong.
So what would you, okay, you good till 2024, would you start at 2024 and put 10 years on, or do you want to start right now and put 10 years on?
I don't think it
The
goes
best thing would be for us is if we could start in 2024. That gives us
10 years if
Think
that's
that'd be
possible.
better.
So that actually be a longer than 10-year lease.
Well-
What I suggest is that 10-year lease from right now with like an automatic renewal and that's one of the part of this.
That was kind of what I had wondered. I noticed originally I was looking at the paperwork.
This is Nick Barfus,
Nick
he's one of
Barfus.
our board members.
Right.
Nick is a board member.
I was looking at the original agreement when they did they did a 10-year with an additional 10 years on the end, and I don't know because they could only go 10 years.
Yes.
Well, now it's down to 5. I mean, it's at 5 is what I
That's-
was getting at. So.
For a motion?
But would you still, I guess Blanche's question, I don't think I'd do it.
Well-
So
No, I think it's gonna start from now.
We'd start from
10 years, you have
2021
to
for
start
10
now, and then you
years.
could do the automatic.
Or wait till 2024 and you come in and ask for 10 years.
Well, they want it now, though.
But they want it now.
Yeah, I'd like to tell the shareholders we have a
Yeah.
10-year lease if they're gonna, each of them spend at least $3,000.
I'd make a motion, we do it right now. Give me a lease and everything. So you can get at least then you have something to show when you go to, if you have to go get more money somewhere too,
With the same term, basically the same terms as exist.
same everything.
So what-
Automatic renewal.
When does the lease, what, does it start like in January or is it, does it matter?
starts July 1.
Okay, so you'd be July 1, 2021 to July 1, 2030. That work?
June, yeah, June,
Yeah.
June 30th.
Yeah, whatever. So
Okay,
that's your 10 years.
we got a motion, we got a second.
I second.
Any public comment? Betty?
I'm Betty Munis, and I know, I'm not quite sure where the Marina is now.
It's on Edwards track, subdivision. It is only used for people who reside in Edwards track. Georgetown. We're about a mile down from Denver.
Okay, so the reservoir is, it's a big issue that the commissioners deal with all the time. And as the water goes up and down, I'm an irrigator down below. When you're building these, would you be trying to take into consideration the engineering that might help benefit the decisions of the commissioners and everyone else that you know, we have water rights that have been in the reservoir for a long time, and we have neighbors that we want to get along with, that I understand where you're coming from.
Well, it shouldn't affect any water rights or any of that, you know, the flow of the lake or anything. All it is a marina where we have slips. We have 23 slips. People put their boats in. You know, it was like I say, it was built in 1989, now with logs. And the logs are deteriorating, the riprap is starting to fall into the lake. So it actually would be better for the lake, you know, if we repaired that.
Yeah, and I understand that. I'm just hoping that we're in a very interesting time with the lake levels going up.
Well, I know that, yeah, and that's one of the issues that we have. We'll have to do some dredging in that area, because right now, there's one area that it's so low, and because of the silt building up over the years from action and waves, people can't use it.
Well, I understand. I was just hoping it would be something that would be beneficial for bigger.
Well, it shouldn't affect any of the operation of the dam, you know, the water down below or any of that. It shouldn't affect none of that.
I think one thing the existing agreement says, and I don't have it right in front of me, is that there's no guarantee on that there'll be sufficient water right there.
No.
So, yeah, it's, the county's definitely not guaranteeing.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
But even like last year, I think it was high water, the area was even overflowing, and still, I know at the end of July, I couldn't get my boat into my slip because of the buildup. My slip was one of the first ones to come to the end because of, you know, over the years, the buildup of silt.
Okay, any other public comment on Zoom? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
I can
got it.
make those changes and send them out. Very good. But
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're off till 11:15. Okay, now we're on to discuss potential amendment of fire restrictions, discussion and decision. This is what we didn't do last week. And so we're a week behind the DNRC and the Forest Service. So we make it official. We have a motion to go to one.
I make a motion to go with resolution 2021-13 to stage 1 fire restrictions from stage 2.
Second it.
Any public discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We sign this?
track down Tom Crawford's phone number and address, I'm trying to get his email, so I can email. Oh, that's, yeah.
Do you have a comment from Elena?
Elena,
There you go.
Sorry, it took me a little bit because I had to go and look to see if this resolution was listed as one of the documents. I didn't see it, or did I miss it? Or it's not online.
Blaine just drafted it.
Just
the-
drafted.
It's the same one that's the original stage one resolution, basically consistent with that, but just said to go from 2 to 1. I can send you a copy if you want.
Well, it just should be online, you know, so where the public that's watching remotely can see it. And that's about it, I guess. Thank you.
okay, now we're gonna move into capital improvement project, padded jail cell. To go out for bid, discussion and decision. Is he ready for this?
Yes, Blaine has come up with a draft notice. Notice to go out to bid. I've been working with the sheriff on this, right?
Yeah, I told him it was coming up, but I don't know if I told him it was on your agenda today, but
Maybe
he knows
we
it's coming. Yeah.
table it for next week or something again, so he's here to see if this is what he wants. Or-
Yeah.
Yeah, he should do it.
Let me see if he can come over or.
Yeah, as long as we're on it. Yeah, we're welcome to table it.
We have a little bit of time too. It's the next agenda item for Janine. She will not be able to make it today.
Janine won't make it.
Well, we're gonna have to talk about that anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe take a tour. I didn't look in that. The damage.
So they, yeah.
Yeah. They're working on an estimate too for us. So.
Get a hold.
Just in the text.
Well, let's go ahead and table it.
Make a motion, we table the notice to bid by on the pad sale for next week.
I second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, we're off until 11:45. Okay, we're back on. We're gonna talk about the maintenance issues with the courthouse upstairs bathroom. And we might as well talk about the damage.
So Janine's not here to talk about it, but it sounds like there were some kids playing in the upstairs ladies laboratory and had somehow there were Kleenex and things stuffed in the sink and the water was turned on and nobody goes into this elections office at all. So it went unnoticed that it was raining water into the elections office and the water has gone through that floor into the Alpena County network. So Springlink came,
Or, Spring.
Day Spring, and has been working on the cleanup. They have all sorts of fans and things in the ceiling to clean out and dry the plaster, but the floors are incredibly wet still. They're cleaning out the ceilings, drying them. They should have an estimate around about idea to us this afternoon so we can start the cleaning process.
Who's kids?
They don't know for sure who did it, but
Yeah.
there were kids up there. Usually there's probably people that go into that bathroom more just that afternoon. But no, if you're gonna be redoing the bathrooms upstairs and that issue already been taken care of, yeah, if there's damage to the ceiling of the that floor and then the ceiling to the
Yeah, I went
bottom.
So in that instance, because it was probably kids, our insurance still should cover it
Oh,
because of vandalism.
You would cover it in any event, yeah. But you probably have a $5,000.
Yeah, I think it's, yeah.
No, two's on there.
Is it two?
That was two on this. Maybe that might be on this on the brakes and stuff.
You can look it up, but you do have it back.
But yeah, but
But
that's
that's
when we have to
yeah,
deal
you're
with the
right.
yeah.
Is the upstairs bathroom still usable? The floor and everything?
I haven't even got in there.
I looked in, yeah, I think it's not buckled or anything, it looks like it's drying, but it's closed off right now because they have all their equipment still in there drying. It's a system where it sucks the water into a canister.
We could go on a little tour of it though.
No, why don't we?
Let's do it.
So we're going on a tour now. I guess everybody can't come. Okay, we took a little tour and now we're off for lunch. Okay, we're back on and Scott is updating us on the,
Okay, they're talking like on the motion, we gave them the motion that they wanna, then we asked them to bring the table more information on that web, where we got that. And then we'll do this over the email this next week, and then if that don't work, then we go to mediation.
So potentially could have this on the agenda next week, just for decision on the email going back. He asked for information on county's revenue and taxes for the last 4 years, a breakdown year to year, just to show what's coming in.
Give them just the road, let them see what they're making, nothing.
Well,
No, I'm just kidding.
But can you access that, or should we ask Sarah, do you mind asking?
So what are we looking for?
Basically, kind of a revenue breakdown for the last 4 years, year to year, taxes and other revenues coming into the county.
But everything that we went to them and asked, and he kicks it back, well, I can't do this, you're gonna have to do that, so you'll have, well, I mean, isn't that their job, though, to bring to the table what they need?
Yeah, we told them that we don't know if those sites are credible or which ones are
Right.
credible.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what the big.
And where we can say ours is credible because we're going by comparable counties and by what's offered through MACO for the CPI. The CPI.
But
What is
once
it?
again, it's like he don't wanna do the work and it comes back, we have to do the work. You notice that, how then he gets all of, well, you gotta.
That was some squares and some circles that didn't.
So you want revenue countywide or just the road revenue?
He asked for countywide.
So how can he compare countywide when it's the road fund that pays those wages?
But he's just,
I would say
he's just
just go to
entitled to that.
mediation.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
fine, yeah.
I tend to just
But-
go to mediation right away and then that way we can have them in here, we can sit here.
Yeah.
I think it's better go to mediation and screw around. Why do, he said, well, you're gonna have to have that stuff. Well, blame them or try to explain them, well, you gotta do this, man. He turned right around it, you know?
Yeah. But, yeah, do you mind asking Sarah?
Oh, no, it's
Becky just emailed me actually and asked me if we wanted countywide or only road revenue and tax, and I said countywide, so they're already
Yeah,
on it.
and you can go right in and get the, for what, fiscal year end 21?
Once again,
For
we
the last
have
4
more-
years.
Or the last 4 years?
We have more information than you already. I mean, we got map things.
Maybe we can do some digging on at those actual numbers too, because,
You don't
Yeah.
review. This
well,
is
it's
who
just, so it'd be,
compares
you have to be some type, these, housing, land or whatever, that they have a formula on all
to.
that.
You know, there's all those committees that are just put together too under that ARPA thing, like for the Department of Labor and Industry for that workforce development. I bet they've done a lot of that mapping.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hold somebody in that.
I mean, more for the rehab.
and for
Okay, we done with this?
Yeah.
We'll move on to
like Anaconda Beer Lodge.
public comment. So now we're in public comment.
Where else did he have a square on, Scott? There's Anaconda Beer Lodge, Butte, Silverbow.
Well, then they went all east.
I think it's your big ticket one.
Yeah.
If you can get that map, I can make a copy of it for you.
Need that, but you might see if he's outside there. He usually talks to a second grab it from him. He said we could have it, and he took, or we gave it back, I guess.
Well, I set it there and then
So Scott, what should we do with that plastic stain or whatever you left on the
We'll
picnic?
probably have to set it inside so it don't freeze, I guess.
I'll put it in my office and I'll grant it.
Yeah, just set it in behind that door there. And then
what is it?
I'll put it down.
Stuff for you.
Oh,
We can set it in there.
You put it in your office,
Yeah, I'll just put it in my office.
there's a little box on top.
So I'm just gonna make one public comment, and that's, we've done our homework. We are basing the cost of living with what is recommended by MACO, which every county in the state of Montana uses. We took comparable counties by their certified value, by their population, and by the area miles traveled. And Granite County came up as the highest paid. And so we have our documented wages here and our documented mileage and certification that 1.2 is fair for, and their 1% matrix.
He asked if you would email him back a copy of all those things that he gave you, and he would also like he gave us his map back. If we could just make a electronic copy and send it to him.
okay.
So I can do that and send it to you if you wanna
All
forward
right.
it on to him. Here's your map back,
You want to make a copy right now?
okay?
All right.
Thank you, Becky.
He said that we can keep this,
Okay.
and I'll just make the electronic copy.
All right.
Oh, he needs a copy for himself because he didn't make a copy?
Yeah,
Where does this stuff?
and all of that other paperwork that he gave away.
Now it's a record.
It's actually, he's actually making he's making a decent argument, but I don't think it's, if it was factually correct, it would be a good argument, but you gotta show the facts.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying is we're
Yeah.
basing on facts.
Elena?
Thank you. Since you're still talking about the union negotiations, what union are you dealing with that this Mr. Davis is associated with? I didn't see the name.
Just a second.
Operator and mechanics. Something or other, because there's operator and mechanics and there's teamsters, and they're not teamsters, it's teamsters with the state.
Because I came up with a name that was associated with him with the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 400, but I don't think that's the same one, is it?
It is the IUOE local number 400.
It is.
That's what it was.
The International Union of Operating Engineers. Okay.
Okay.
And, all right, just clarification on that, that's all it is, because I used to be a union representative in New York, so I was interested in that. But I didn't think that the meetings would be closed or the negotiations closed. I'll look into that further. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. Me and my cousin. Please, I apologize for cussing.
You should have seen it a year ago. Not just him. Me too.
Oh, well, that's it. I would never be a negotiator because
Well, they just bring other stuff and then they get, one of these, then they have others sitting there, and they're, it's.
we've got a very, very good, valid, and strong defense.
That's why I figured it'd be better just go to mediation. Say this, make them bring their proof and then boom, just call mediation.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're gonna sit there.
How do we do that then? What happens?
Next week we can.
So
He brings the stuff to the table and what we got and just call it mediation.
with all of us?
We've had to do it before and it works out better.
So we've got to reach out, I can reach out to the Department of Labor, their Board of Personnel, and I think they send one. I'm assuming there's a expense to it, we can probably share the cost, but yeah, I think they potentially come right here, but.
That's what they did
do it,
last
did they?
time.
Okay.
They
Were they, was the meteor good?
Yeah.
So we have all the facts, not today.
That's the thing, we have the stuff, they don't have nothing really for us besides a map with pictures on it, that's just not. You can't answer to the public with a picture on a map.
Oh, one thing, we were told up there that they can't afford a new pickup, and one of the people on the negotiating up there has a new pickup. So
That's
they
what
lied
didn't
to
you hear
us.
me tell Johnny, that's why I
Yeah.
said, well, he has one. Nick Psycho has a brand new pickup.
Oh, I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah,
Did Psycho say he had one?
I see it, I just see it there, and then he's building onto his house and everything, but he put money into places. Well, that's.
He's also going on a trip to the Dominican Republic with my parents.
Who did?
Nikki said go and his wife.
He said, well, if he knew this, he just would stay to work for Mungus. I don't think Mungus is paying insurance.
They don't have a
That's-
retirement plan.
That's the big, retirement plan insurance, is the big one.
See,
They
and
don't
now-
recognize none of that. They don't, when you
Yeah.
bring that up, they just feel like we owe.
If they went with the public sector, they would not get the retirement plan that they have through the county because the public sector does not match.
You know, one thing though that Craig Davis was saying up there, he was saying that the union goes through, has a trust, kind of like we do for
Blue
health insurance,
Cross.
they do Blue Cross.
Yeah.
He says it's $1,300 a month and covers dental, vision, and is a good, like a 4,000 up max out of pocket, and it'll cover your family too. I don't know if that is, he wasn't really using that as a negotiation tactic, but.
They
potentially
kind of
something
brought it,
to
because
look
I
into.
said, well, what about the insurance we pay? And then he brings that up of his own person.
Yeah.
So, and then that's, he's talking for his personal, not his, but he's worried about his employees.
Well, the employees have brought up that for one child have to pay $900 a month or whatever, so it's not worth it. So it's potentially worth looking at. You know?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Correspondence,
Don't take care of.
it's all done. Minutes,
I make a motion that we approve August 24th, 2021 board minutes.
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Looks like we can go home.
Okay,
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
We have the mediation for with Flicker Hydro on October 12th.